There we go. See, when I have this guest on, weird stuff happens. But we're going to get all this stuff out of the way here. So welcome to the JIT Darkness Descends with the JK-47. This is episode 14. Let's say thank you to our sponsors. Our first sponsor, Legit Tumblers. Check it out. You can get a tumbler like a beer mug, or they have the larger ones. You can get your logo on it. There's all sorts of cool ones. Check it out. And right now, folks, if you sign up for our new virtual newsletter from King Mike and Sarah Paranormal, you'll receive a 10% discount on a Legit tumbler. So just go to legitpodcast.com and check it out. They got some great stuff. But going on here, thank our other sponsor, highharvest.net. If you're down, they'll keep you up. Legitpodcast.com. Check out our other shows that we have. This is my show. I'm on every Friday at 10:05 Eastern, 8:05 my time. And thank you to Parapost for allowing us to stream on their network. Also, check out Global Ghost Hunts. Their investigations will be starting soon, so make sure you like and subscribe. Let's see who's in the house. External X-Wolf Paranormal, what is happening? Welcome, my friends. We're going to have a great show. So tonight is very special. I have one of my good friends that I love so much. There's Mr. Mike Adkins himself, the Legit Tumbler. What is up? Chris Binder in the house. Hey, brother. So, as I was saying, my good friend, I love very much. I've been on her show. She's been on Talking with the Source with me. There's Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for joining. She's an amazing psychic medium. She does Reiki healing. She does it all. She can even talk to your pets, and your pets will tell you crazy things, and she does readings. I'm just so excited to have her on. So without further ado, here is Miss Lorilei Potvin. How are you?
Thank you for having me. You know what? That was good because I had time. Because how could I forget? I realized I could share to my platform. So we're sharing on my Facebook profile. And we're sharing on my YouTube.
And Mary's with us. Hello, Mary.
Hi,
welcome.
everybody.
So, if you guys want to check out Lorilei has some great shows. I've been on your Angel Rock show. I've been on the thing at the foot of the bed with you and Dave. I always love.
Very lucky because we don't have guests on the thing.
I know, but it was such a fun night. Like, because when all three of us are together, all this crazy stuff starts happening, and we get crazy stuff. So, and Mary's saying hello to you.
I saw that. Hi, Mary.
So, Lorilei, there's Kathy. Hello. Hi, how are you? Welcome. So this is your first time on Legit Networks.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. Because a lot of people don't know your stories. I know a lot of your guests are here, a lot of mine, but there's some people that are silent out there. I know. Just tell me how you started. How did you start?
Okay, first I got to say hi to Chris Binder because I know Chris too.
Yes,
and Mary said hi again. Thanks, Mary. Okay, so how did I start? Well, I can remember my earliest paranormal experience at the age of 4. I'll be 59 in August, so that's a long time ago. And then I've had the strange and the unusual. So you're right. I'm from Canada. I am a psychic medium. I'm a crystal Reiki energy healer. I do the Akashic records. I'm also a nurse. I'm a spiritual teacher and mentor and been well-versed in near-death experiences. I've studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. Had one as a toddler myself and budding animal communicator. So I'm well-versed in the paranormal, but I always said I never went looking for it. It found me. So first experience that I can remember back as far was at the age of 4. When I was 8, we moved into a new home. It never been built on before. Hi, Debbie Schmoley. And what had happened was I was 7 turning 8. And every night, and I did not know about the paranormal at that time, at 3 a.m., I would wake up unable to breathe. Every single night. I was terrified to go to sleep. And it happened from that spring. We moved in right when summer was starting until the snow fell. It was about November. And they diagnosed me with asthma, but I don't think it was asthma because as a nurse, I know what asthma is. It was like
Yeah, yeah.
choking me. It was terrifying. So I've always had weird and strange things happen as a nurse, working on nights a lot and very unusual. I'm writing a couple books, and one of them is some of the experiences I've had working when people transition out of this lifetime as they go back home, I call it, and collecting stories from other nurses, death doulas, first responders, and stuff. But I have some stories that I've had. Long story short, I lived in a house for many years. It was my first husband's house during childhood. Never had any problems in there or anything, but we moved in there. Long story short, I had this dream, which I'll explain. I'm trying to make this short. It was like a lucid dream. It's like it happened 10 minutes ago, and it was
Right.
like over 16, 17 years ago. And there was a tree
There's
in my
Mish. Hi, Mish.
Hi, Mish, over in Australia. Saturday over there. Hi, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. I'm going to give her a shout out. She's on my network, United Public and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And she's got Spirit Switchboard on Fridays, 6 to 8 p.m. She's amazing and paranormal investigator. So, with this story, and I think it's important to the story, I know it's a bit long, but I had this man sitting in a tree, which was in my front yard. And he was wearing, you could tell, a very expensive suit, dark charcoal, pinstriped, had a white silk shirt on, black tie, and had this black slick back hair, just about ear length. But his skin was like this pasty white as I looked up, and his eyes were going from pure black to fire. And I had a little pet jewelry business. I won't make it too long, but long story short, it was like this, I'm going to call it a thing. Knew about it because he said, hello, Lorilei. He said, you know that little pet business you have? He goes, that's nothing. He goes, I can offer you wealth. I can offer you fame. I can offer you anything beyond your wildest dreams. All you have to do is agree to follow me. And it's not radio or podcast friendly what I told him in the dream, but in no uncertain terms did I agree. And I told him to leave. Also asked him, who are you? He proceeded to tell me he was a demon, told me his name, spelt it. And again, with much more emphasis, I told it where to go. And he started laughing at me and mocking me and going, oh, no, 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 no. Every time I see a crow, you see a crow or a raven, you're going to know who it is. And I woke up in a sweat, shaking, crying, which I don't do. And all heck broke loose in my house. Long story short, to add to that very quickly, I could not find this name. I'd never heard of it before till about 5 or 6 years later. Everything I was told in that dream to the T, I found written on a page, exactly what he had told me, including this one.
Wow. And this story, people can actually see it. Isn't this the story that your show you were on?
Paranormal, Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor. It's season 4, episode 9. And it's called Demonic Hauntings. Yes, they do start out with it. I'm sorry when you know the story and stuff, and like you know me well because we're friends. Like if you watch it, because the person, let's just say, I'm grateful we could share a story on there. But let's just say the girl that played myself in the reenactments, let's just say she took her role very seriously and very much reflected.
It gave me the creeps. When I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh.
And that's not the only thing I can say that happened true to form down to the last thing was the last part of the episode. Yeah, my partner almost died. And after that, one of us had to stay awake all night long to watch over the other 3. It's usually me. He almost died, and they did show that. They showed it actually pretty close to the way it happened.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was my introduction.
No. I mean, you're such a warm soul. Like I just love hearing you talk all the time. Like you have such good things and advice to say. So so the eclipse happened on Monday. Mm-hmm. What did you do for the eclipse? Did you do anything special or?
Okay, I'll be careful with the conspiracy theory, which I hate those words. I call it truth seeking. I do look up in the sky because most people don't. You see very amazing things when you look up there. But I actually took pictures about 3 days before because it literally looked like there were trails, I'll say, in the sky that looked like pentagrams painted across the sky from planes flying around with what I call it, exhaust, whatever you want to call it. And I thought, my gosh, what the heck is this? This is weird. I've never seen this much. And lo and behold, it was raining, cloudy. We had our glasses. We were checking. We were looking. My partner and I, Adele, we were looking, nothing to see, no darkness, nothing.
Oh,
Absolutely
wow.
nothing. Mm-hmm.
I missed it. I slept till 1 o'clock. And then there's people saying that, oh, yeah, a lot of people slept later than normal. I was like,
oh, I forgot though. You're in a different time zone too.
yeah,
So
I'm on mountain time. I'm
yeah.
about 2 hours before you. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was going to wake up and get to the backyard, sit with my dogs and my crystals, see if we could charge them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
but I
nothing.
slept.
I had to do something that day. I do work with two very close friends that are like sisters that are, one's an amazing channeler and Akashic Records reader. We're in 3 different countries, and the other one is an incredible medium. And we do connect with the other side. We don't know why, but we trust with who we work with on the other side. And they had asked us to sort of meditate and do something. So we each did something, and just it was meant with love and protection around the world. Not that I thought the end of the world or anything else was coming, but we just did as we were asked. And I don't know if anything was supposed to happen, and I didn't notice anything different after, but that's also what we did. So
Yeah, it's just weird that earthquake happened before it too.
there was more than one. There was a couple.
that
Yeah.
was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So your crystals, you work with your crystals a lot,
Absolutely.
and
I'm
you
wearing
do
one right now. So
Reiki
where
healing.
I am in Thunder Bay, and we are having a big we're having a big paranormal conference in here in Thunder Bay. I'm speaking at it. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn speaking at it. There's going to be Jeff Belanger. There's going to be Shane Pittman. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Travel channels. I think it's, oh God, I always get the name wrong. Carrie Lynn, if you're still here, can you please share? Because and it's going to be awesome. It's a whole weekend. But the reason I share it is where I live, we are on the port of Lake Superior. I'm about 6 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay. But in Canada, and I don't know what it is about this area, but we have every kind of paranormal you can think of. And we are also known for Super 7 or Melody Stone crystals and Oralite 23 where we are. So one of the only places you can really get them in the world. So it's a pretty special place where we live.
Is there like mountains around you, or are you more in the city part, or?
Well, I'm in a city, but I will tell you, I've been to Colorado, and when I went to Colorado, it actually, except you guys had a lot more red soil, it really reminded me of where I live. So there's a very strong First Nations presence within this community, a lot of legend and lore. There's also a lot of mountains. We have the Sleeping Giant, which looks like literally a giant sleeping. We have Kakabeka Falls on the south side of the city, rurally, that we call Little Niagara of the North, and they are intertwined. There's quite a legend that goes with it. But we are known for ufology, dogmen, ghosts and severe hauntings. Anything you can think of, we have here. Everything.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the hot spot of Canada, huh?
I don't know. Well, we've got a lot of violence here too. Per capita, I think we're number 1 for people no longer living by violent means, unfortunately. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So with your Reiki healing, how do you prepare for that, or is there certain crystals that you use for certain ailments?
I have it actually. So I don't do. There's many different kinds of Reiki. Okay, and with Reiki, what it is in a nutshell is I always call myself the male person. So I'm just making that connection between source and the person I'm working with. And, you're channeling love and light and healing for people. So I'm looking at you rather than here. And you're channeling that energy for healing and for the person's highest good. So what I do is crystal Reiki, and I need to make a video to show people because it's not quite the same. So what it is when you come and see me is usually there's a specific reason, usually shows up in people's chakras, or some people call it chakras, or our invisible energy centers for people who may not know what that is, right? So what I do is with a pendulum, and I call it I don't want to show this person's thing, but it looks like a little gingerbread person I draw. And I work with the 7 chakras through the whole midline of the body. So I go through with a pendulum and I check your chakras to make sure whether they are underbalanced, overbalanced, or they're good, basically. So then I balance them with crystals intuitively, but there's 15 symbols with crystal Reiki that we specifically use with this. I promise I won't go into a half-hour conversation about this, but long story short, so once I do that, I check to make sure everything's balanced after. Then I also use, have I got one here? Yeah, I do. I usually use my bigger one, but I'll use a selenite wand after, because what I'm going to do after I balance your chakras is I go through with the pendulum and I check to see if your energy field or aura has cracks or holes or anything in it. And I go through with the selenite wand and I heal it. And then I ground your energy after. So it's very healing. Most people notice a difference afterwards. And yeah, I love doing it. So it's not the same as traditional Reiki. Mm-hmm.
What do people mostly come to you for? Like are they feel like just not themselves, or like is it like something in the body, or?
Okay, so I almost highlighted this comment from Nicole Thomas Ryan. So sorry, I forgot I'm not producing here. No, okay, so you can okay, so let's take the root chakra, for example, and this is just very simply the root chakra, which would be one of your base chakras. Now we have other chakras into our feet, below our feet, and so on and so forth. But the 7 ones in the midline are the main, okay? So with your root chakra, that would be things like security, safety, what have you. Your solar plexus, which is just below your belly button, like that would, I always call it kind of like the main executive decision maker, for an example. You're probably thinking, what the heck does that have to do with anything? The reason I mention that is people could come to see me for anything. Now, I'm not claiming I'm going to heal you. I'm not diagnosing anybody. I can't do that as a nurse. But what I can help do is make sure, first of all, they're all spinning in alignment, because that will answer Nicole's question in just a second. So that they're all spinning the way they're supposed to spin, that they're not spinning really, really fast or really, really, really sluggish. Okay, so they're effectively working. Now, the thing is, people could come for health reasons, for mental health issues. Maybe you're feeling stuck and you don't know, you know what I mean? Like anything you've got going on in life for whatever reason, and it's not quite going to maybe the way you want it to be going, you could come and see me about that. And we check all this and get you back into alignment. And I find over the years of doing this that when people come regularly, they really notice a difference. I also notice too that there's not as much to do with their chakras versus if someone comes maybe once a year or once every 5 years. So Nicole asked, can they be blocked? I hear people. Okay. So I think it's a matter of semantics with the language we're using, because I will hear people say, your chakra's not spinning. It's completely not spinning. That is impossible, because the only reason your chakra wouldn't be spinning or moving is if you were no longer on the planet. So underactive might be something to akin to what somebody may say it's blocked. Okay, so it's not functioning effectively. It's not spinning the way it should be spinning. When you're in perfect alignment, they're spinning the way they're supposed to be. Everything's in alignment and it's balanced. So for example, if I checked you and your solar plexus was underactive, very likely I'm going to see the chakra above the heart chakra, and also the sacral chakra may be out of alignment. Not always. And I'm sure you've seen me on my own show. I'll just show you here, and I'm not trying to show off here, but I can't go in with any preconceived notions, because this is a pendulum. I'll take this off so you can see. I can tell this what to do if I focus on it. So I'm going to tell it to go back and forth. So I'm going to try not move my arm. I'm going to ask it to stop. Take a breath here. Sorry. Okay. Now I'm going to ask it to spin. And I'm going to ask it to stop. So what that is, no, I've had people say I'm a witch or I went, no, it's just when you understand about energy and you work with it and you practice it, I could influence it. So I have to be very clear and not go with any, I can't expect that, but I'm not surprised if I see it. Let's put it that way.
That's amazing. So what about frequency? Like, do you use sound frequencies with the crystals, or are you just using your energy?
I can. A lot of my stuff that I use regularly is here. So, for example, I haven't really used, like, I have tuning forks. Um, I have singing bowls, stuff like that. Like, there's my tuning fork. I've not used it. I see what happens when I do this, and I'm finding is the easiest and best thing. I do a lot of different things. So I kind of just go with what I hear from spirit. So if I heard, you know what, you need to pull out your tuning fork and use that, I will. I've had people when we've been in the middle of this that they're asking a few questions after, and I'll hear, it might be a good idea to open the record. Spirit's never going to tell me what to do, but they'll make the suggestion. Exactly, Michelle. We are energy. That's all we are. Mm-hmm.
Just held together by vibration and frequency, and
Yep.
it's just amazing once you really start digging into it and doing research about stuff. And like I was telling you earlier, I've been doing the sessions with Nikola Tesla, and the information I'm getting from him, like the sessions are getting stronger and stronger. So this Tuesday will be number 5. It should be a good one. So I love talking to him. It's amazing the answers I get sometimes.
I have a question for you. Mary's asking, no, you don't need to be physically in front of me, because let's face it, like Michelle said, and I'm going to pull Tesla into this, but everything is energy, right? And one of the laws of energy is it can neither be, I know you know this, but can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred from one place to another. And even quantum physics is starting to show this, that you do not have to physically be in front of anybody. I have done a session with somebody in Sri Lanka. I've done one in Japan, done it all over. So you don't physically need to be in front of somebody to do it. And it's kind of cool the way that works, but it's kind of nice that science is starting to catch up a little bit with it to prove that, yes, you don't need to be physically in front of people. But I was going to ask you about Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just asking Tesla questions, or is he teaching you? Because I almost feel like he would come through and start teaching you some things if you asked him. Or you had big questions.
I was thinking about it. I've asked him questions as like what frequency to use, to talk to spirit better. And in the 4th session, he said 11, 12, 13. And then after the second round of questioning, he said 14. It's kind of weird. So
maybe he's telling you, right? Think about it, feel into it, and feel what feels best for you. Maybe what resonates with you on that day.
Yeah. It's just I review it the next day, and I'm like, I got to think of better questions to ask him, because I think he's getting a little irritated with the same questions. So I gotta be careful not to piss him off. So,
well, I connected with him a few times, and I find he's no nonsense, and he doesn't like chit chat or anything. He kind of wants to get right down to business, but he's pleasant enough. I'm sure.
He seems like a good guy. Like, he called me an a-hole in the last session.
He didn't, did he?
Yeah, because I asked the same questions in the second round, and I asked him how he died. And in the first round of questioning, he said heart attack. And then when I asked it again the second time, he said, "I told you, a-hole." I was like,
so he really says he had a heart attack.
Yeah. That's how he said he died on the computer too. It was a heart attack.
Well, you have such a gift with spirit communication, and that's kind of how we originally, it was through talking with the source, but I've noticed you have such a gift with working with SB7 and connecting with spirit by calling in all. You really do. You get some incredible responses that a lot of people don't.
Well, the best thing was when we were live and we were trying to find that guy that escaped prison.
Oh, Danilo Cavalcante.
Yeah,
Yes. You
that
blew my mind with that.
was
Remember, we were talking like, and I kept saying to you, well, you can't call. So the guy that escaped, for people that don't know, he escaped and was on the run. They had like every elite force from out there looking for him in the US and Pennsylvania. And what does Jonathan get through Spirit? Tell him that he's by the river in this little house, and you're on the opposite side of the country, and you were able to
yeah.
pinpoint exactly where that was.
Yeah, no, he was using that river. Remember, I was asking his guides. I was like, "All right, where is he? Because I don't want somebody else to get hurt." And I think I was going in with that right intention. And they're like, "He's in that shed." And I was like, "Shed." And there was only one shed. It was by the
Yeah, but
river.
you found it. And then
Yeah,
we tried the Estes method, and I warned you because I get spooky, weird stuff around me. I forget, what did they say? And all of a sudden, Jonathan goes, "Nope, nope, nope, we're done. That's it. Nope, we're done."
it said this is the devil. I was like,
Well, that's what it
"What?"
was. Yeah,
I
this
was like,
is the
"Screw you!"
devil. Jonathan
I'm
goes,
like,
"Nope,
"Screw
we're
you,
done."
man!
Yeah.
I don't want that shit in my house." It's like, no way. I was
And
like,
I
"I'm
don't
sorry,
have an
Lorilei, I'm done."
attachment. I don't have an attachment. I know I don't have an attachment. But I always say, right, that once you run into the dark, it does not forget. It does
Yeah,
not forget who you are. It doesn't.
no,
It doesn't.
and that's one of the things I've been working on is believing in myself, saying I am the light. I am the light. I will overcome any of the dark, and I just nail it. I mean, get all these crazy responses. I just, it's just uh, totally like it when the spirit begins to trust you. Yeah, no, and that's what you got to realize. I mean, they're still people. They're just in a different form. They're just pure energy now.
Mhm.
They're in the fifth dimension. We're in the third dimension.
Yeah, but the
You know?
thing is, too, right? If you think about it, like being on Earth or 3D or third dimension, right? We live in a duality. So, in order to have balance, I always say, ideally, if you could ever do this as a human being, we would be perfectly connected through our chakras to source energy,
Yeah,
perfectly grounded. I call it Gaia, or center of the earth. And then we would have the perfect balance of dark and light. And we would need both to be in perfect balance because of where we are. So we have to have dark, just like we have cold, we have hot, we have night, we have day, we have whatever, right? It's just where we are.
no, I started uh, doing the elements. Like I got a bottle of water there
Mhm.
that I put by there. I have my candle I light for the fire, and my crystals are the earth from rock, and
I
I
think that's really cool.
yeah, I just get in that zone, and I do before I start my show. I'm down here an hour before, letting it warm up, letting myself get grounded, and I think that's important to take that time to warm up.
Yeah, but remember that day, and that came from Spirit. Mike, I don't think I had a guest plan that day on the Angel Rock, and I'd seen you were there, and people were really having a hard time. A lot of people had mentioned it was the anniversary of
Yeah,
losing someone they loved. And all of a sudden, I heard Spirit say, "Ask Jonathan if he's free." And I messaged you. And we forget, because we work in the paranormal world, that the most people, unless, like, if you don't watch paranormal shows or anything, you have no idea that you can communicate with Spirit in real
exactly.
time, and people's minds were blown. But then again, anybody that hears this, that maybe sees that and hears that, there, it's just like anything, though. You should have somebody show you how to open a session and protect your energy,
Yeah,
ground yourself, and close it. Just don't go
yeah,
grab a
yeah.
willy-nilly
Just
box.
don't jump into it. I on the second episode of this show I did a complete how to everything I
Did you?
do.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to send me the link, because I get a lot of people asking me that, and I've referred people to you. That's because
yeah,
they wanted to go out and buy a device afterwards, and I said, talk to Jonathan, because that's not my field of expertise. I mean, I know about it. But I probably, if I
no,
had,
you and David are amazing when you hear spirit talking to you, like it's just like, especially David, he's really good. He's like, "Oh, thank you." And
Mhm.
he's saying this, and he's dealing his cards, and I love that. I still got mine. I keep mine with me at all times because that's what
Mhm,
the book said. Always keep them with you. Don't.
mhm.
So
I forget to communicate back to spirit, but when I'm talking or say I'm doing a show on my own, and then I'll forget what I'm talking about, but I know if I just keep talking, it will come back. I'm not hearing voices, but I'm what you would call very clairaudient. So I hear spirit a lot within the mind's eye. So I'm hearing spirit, I'm talking, and then maybe talking to, you know what I mean? So there's a lot going on. Or if I'm doing a show on my own, thinking about what I'm going to say next, as well as talking, and then I'm hearing spirit, because before every podcast that I do, I just say, okay, spirit, where are we going with this? And I just
yeah.
leave it perfectly open.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one day you're like, "Hey, can you jump on real quick?" I was like, "Sure." That's it
And
just
people message me afterwards. Like, honestly, they were so mind blown because, again, I forget that not everybody that watches our shows always knows that there's things like that out there, right? Not everybody's from the
yeah.
paranormal world.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, that's how I met Faye and Roger.
I was
'Cause
thinking
they,
about her because her brother came
yeah,
through and it
yeah,
blew her mind. They were ones that contacted me. So I said, well, here, that's how you get a hold of Jonathan. They had you on their show because
yeah.
they were so mind blown and they had no idea. Like Roger's a medium, but had
Mhm.
no idea that that existed.
No, exactly, and such good people, and I think if you give out that good energy, you're just gonna get it back, and that's what I'm loving. I just all these beautiful people watching and just listening and giving advice and asking questions and stuff, and is that's what it's about. I don't charge for it. People, I've done so many private sessions for people, and they heard their loved ones come through, and I'm like,
I
you
don't
know
charge
they're
for
with
the paranormal, and there's a lot of things I do for free. And um, the thing is, right, like I do charge for readings and stuff like that, but I'm willing, like I do exchanges with
you.
fellow,
Yeah,
because I believe if it's energy, right, equal energy exchange. So if somebody does something really kind for me, I will ask them, do you, I believe in equal energy exchange, and they're
yeah.
not asking for it, and they're not expecting it. It's what my belief system is. So I tend to do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there was one day I was getting ready to go play cards, and I was like, "Dang it, I gotta go to the ATM and get $20." And I on the ground was $20.
No way,
I
really?
was like, "Okay, cool." So, I was like, "Don't have to stop at the ATM."
Oh, Sherry thinks we're not seeing her comment. So let's see if Sherry's on here because she just messaged me. I don't know. Hang on, I'll see. I Sherry goes to my shows. I'm trying to see Sherry. I don't know if I see. Oh wait, Sherry Burris, is it? Yeah, Sherry, you're here, honey. Thank you for sharing with your groups, but I don't see anything after that. Do you, Jonathan?
Not after that one.
She might have sent a question. Let me see what she sent because it popped up on my watch. Hang on, Sherry. So
I'm
I don't know
sorry,
what.
dear. Yeah. No, this happens every time. Every time me and you are on, we people won't see their comments or
Yeah, she
the
says they're not
cameras
coming
won't
here on YouTube
blink.
either.
Huh.
I have no idea why, hun, because we both just checked and I saw a while back on
Yeah.
Facebook, but
It was what time was that? 8:21 and it's 8:37. I haven't seen
yeah,
anyone 8:21.
maybe try closing it and reopening it. Sometimes that'll help,
Well, that
right?
was on Facebook. Yeah. That was on Facebook that she commented on. That was on your Facebooks. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Nicole, I seen that you wrote, I would love to see that. Do you know what she's referring to? Because I didn't.
Yeah, my how to. It was right after we were talking
Oh, okay.
about
Yeah,
that.
please send me
How
the
to.
link because I get lots of people asking me that. So I'll definitely share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the legit one. Yeah, I'll find it. Um, he doesn't save the videos because they got so many shows and there's only so much room in StreamYard. So, but it's still on their YouTube. I'll send you the link. What about numerology? What do you think
Um,
about numbers?
I think that numbers don't lie, first of all, and that a lot of the stuff that we have here is based on numbers. Somebody earlier had mentioned, it might have been Chris,
Chris,
that
yeah,
Tesla had said about 369, definitely. I've looked into numerology. I know a bit about it. Gematria, I've looked at many different forms of that. And I think it's a good thing. I think there's a place for it. I think, again, numbers don't lie. And I think that there's certain things that you can measure even within life when it comes to frequency, vibration, comes to anything that you can measure with numbers that you might not be able to measure in another way.
So we were messing with it. I found this picture of like how to do your birthdays and stuff. And we did Nikola Tesla's birthday, and he was a number one. And
Mhm.
it says the strengths are a natural leader, independent, and ambiguous, driven, and a visionary.
Mhm.
And his weaknesses were impatient, controlling, and arrogant. So
So
I was
where
like,
did you get that for people? And for people that don't understand how numerology works, first of all,
yeah,
you don't have a number. The numbers go from 1 to 9. Some people
yeah.
say 0. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what happens is, say you have the number 111. What you're going
Mhm.
to do, there's nothing that's going to give you 111, but you add those 3 ones up, and so it would break down to a 3, if that makes sense to people.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, that's what it says in the instructions. Like
mhm.
I'll zoom in here.
Yeah, so we use it quite a bit, like with the 2 ladies I meet with. If it comes up, we use it. So, and gematria works even different, and it depends whether you go with it's Jewish gematria, or there's another version. I have to look it up, but gematria looks at, once you break everything down numerologically, there
Mhm.
is a number value assigned for each letter, and it will tell you a lot of information about it. Let me see. I know I've got it in here. Hang on, and I
Yeah,
will.
they were saying this is your life path number, and we were doing everybody's birthday, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, that totally explains me." like, yeah.
I got to
and,
use this phone. Sorry, you got so many
like
devices.
I was a 9. I was a
Uh,
9.
I forget what I am. I'm August 15th, 1965. So
Okay,
whatever
I
that
gotta
is.
look at
I
this
think
one.
I'm an 8 for some reason, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong because I haven't done it
Said
in a while.
August 15th
Yeah, so 8 plus 15 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 5.
in 1975. You said?
65. Hang on, I'll tell you what I am. Hang on. Calendar. Let's see. Okay, so it's 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 5. 30. Yeah, I'm an 8. Else I thought I'm an 8. It's 35. Adds up to 35. So 3 plus 5 is 8.
Yeah, and 8 and the 6
I
is
just did it on a calculator.
4. Oh, did you? Okay.
I was pretty sure because I have done it. And that's why I said to you before I even did it, I think I'm an 8. And I am. I was looking up gematria for you guys. So gematria, because I don't use all this stuff all the time, and gematria could be quite controversial depending what form you're using. So I have an article from Guy. I have a lot of them, but it says, "What is gematria, and can it unlock a hidden code to the universe?" It's quite an interesting article. So the main focus of the Kabbalistic use of gematria is on the name of God, it says. And this is if you use the Hebrew or Jewish gematria. And it gets into letters and formations. I'll send you this article right now, but I have a bunch of stuff on it. And there's a lot of
Okay.
people that swear by it, but I think it's really open into subjective interpretation, right?
Yeah.
You'll see when
And
you.
Mish says, I think people separate after marriage due to name change, changed vibration of the person X.
It can, like I will tell you, when I open people's Akashic records, and I've asked that question years ago, like, what if somebody's changed their name or whatever it is, because you're supposed to use their birth name. So what I usually go with is, please give me your full legal name that is on your driver's license. That's the most current form, usually, of what your full name is.
Mish says she's a 6, so she's in harmony. If you guys want that picture, it's on my JK-47 page, and you can download it off of there.
Yeah, I just sent you on gematria. I have a whole file on numerology, same as like astrology. And you're either into astrology or not, I find in this field. and I'm aware of it. I know a little bit about it, but I had somebody, a friend of mine, Carmen Turnershot, on, and she explained it so clearly to me. And she said the reason why they need your birthday, the time, and the place you were born is because it gives them a snapshot of the 12 constellations in the sky, and that's how
Oh,
they start your birth chart reading. And there's so much. It's literally like you come in, like with, so many people will run into that will say they feel so alone, and we're
yeah.
never alone, right? We have our guides, we have our team. There's various ascended masters, angels, beings that are here to help assist us. Some come in at different times in life. Then we have an astrological chart. There's numerology. I mean, there's
Mhm.
so many. There's people that do soul map readings. I mean, there's so many. We've come in with so much that we aren't aware that we have, that can really give us a lot of guidance and a lot of information.
Yeah, I've seen this one guy on TikTok. He's been on like the Joe Rogan Experience and stuff, and he does amazing stuff. He's like, "Yeah, you're 22. You're this," and the people are like, "What?" It's
Well,
just
that's a master number, though, like
yeah, yeah,
11 and 22. And there's some very special characteristics and information that comes through. And that's those numbers you wouldn't break down. And I believe it's usually the double numbers. Don't quote me, because, like I said, numerology, I wouldn't consider myself an
yeah.
expert
It
in it.
says it right here. It says if you have the numbers 11, 22, or 33, those are
Yeah.
the only exceptions that
And
you
they're
don't have.
master numbers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. And then it
yeah.
gets even more powerful that if you have a master number and say your birthday also falls on, it can also work into even more of a powerful numerological situation as well. And I've run into people like that as well. So
That's so crazy.
mhm.
I love that stuff. It just makes you
Mhm.
think, like, oh my god,
I didn't even know what we were going to talk about tonight, but you know me, we could talk about anything.
talk about everything. I want to know about your new learnings with the pets. How's that going?
Okay, so the one thing I took a course, if you guys are looking, and I'm going to give her a shout out because she's amazing, is juliejeanbassett.com. She's an incredible animal communicator. She's helped me with two of my animals, and she's also a shamanic practitioner, and she's an incredible healer. And even though I do healing, and I have a saying from Spirit that says, what you perceive is what you believe, and it becomes your reality. And maybe it's just me believing this because I perceived it, but I do find it more difficult to do healing on my own. And I know Julie said it, many other healers. And part of that is, right, having the courage and the objectivity to look at what the issues are when you want to heal versus going to another practitioner. And I will tell you, Julie has helped me dramatically.
Yeah, I've
So
seen her on your show. She was on Faye's show too. She's amazing
yeah,
with
I
what she
connected her with a
do.
lot of people. I want everybody to know about her because she's so incredible. So I took an animal communication course with her, her beginner course. And I realized that because it's not hard to read people, but animals, it's hard. It's harder to read your own animals too. So I'm still learning. I say I'm a budding animal communicator, but yeah, it's kind of cool. So what I do usually every morning is I sit outside and I
Mhm.
visit with the birds, and we're getting a bird nest right outside my window up here.
Oh
And the
wow.
property manager came by the other day, and she goes, "Oh, you have a bird's nest." And I said, "Please don't take it down." And she goes, "It's not pigeons, is it?" I go, "No, no, it's just
No,
little
no.
tiny little sparrows."
Sparrow. Yeah.
And so I guess they're getting it because they would never come close to me before. So I haven't had any conversation, but they have gotten, like, literally from my hand to here, and they're not afraid. They come over. And then the other day, yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday or today? I can't remember. Every day blends into each one. So my dog's shedding, and I thought, you know what? That nest is all full of pokey stuff. I bet it would be warm. Rather than throw out the dog hair, I went and tucked it into my bird feeders. And I don't know if they got the message or not. I sent her a message and just said, listen, this is for you to put in your nest. I went inside for 2 minutes and I came back and it was gone. And there was no wind. So unless something else took it,
That's a
I,
gopher.
yeah.
spirit
So I
bird.
know they're different, but you know what it is, right? And I've said this to you before on air and off air. Everybody has intuitive abilities.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
I
And
agree with. Yeah,
right, it's just being open to exploring it, going into it. And once you open that door, like you've shared a lot before we went on air, or some of the new things that are happening with yourself. And
yeah,
that's what happened. I call it collectively spirit, but your guides, your angels, everybody that's your team up there, they're going to meet you where you're at. And when they know what's going on, they know what the path is and where you're going. So they're going to keep giving you more and more. It might give you a few challenges, like you were talking about the dream state and what's happening
mhm,
now, and it will continue and continue. So that's kind of where I'm at. I learn something new every day. Right now, I'm obsessed because I bought a 3D printer. So I'm trying to teach myself how to do 3D printing.
you love your crafts. You do
That's
awesome
spiritual.
crafting.
Yeah, but that's when I connect with spirit, is when
Yeah,
I'm creating. So I'm always creating, especially at night when it's quiet, because that's the best, I think, state of mind to be in. The monkey, I hate this word, but it's true. It's the monkey mind, they call it, our brain, that we think runs everything, and it doesn't. So my monkey mind is busy creating. So it leaves the higher self or your subconscious open, where you can really communicate openly with spirit. And you're in a place of joy, relaxation. I'm not forcing it. And that's the perfect space to be in to connect with your guides, I think.
exactly. And I don't know if you wanted to talk about it, but I think that's why I'm so nice with people and stuff, and I try not to piss them off because I don't want that energy coming to me, because I some stuff has been happening with you lately, right? And somebody sent something to you.
Yes, I told you about that. So I'm no longer in the house that my partner was thrown 15 feet across the kitchen, and he's had many things too. So what had happened was, and we've had a few little things here, but what had happened was Nicole Thomas Ryan. Well, most of the people I know, a lot of people from my show, I'm so glad they popped in here. I know they go to your stuff too. They know we all know each other, one big
Yeah.
happy family, but I'm mentioning it for a reason. So excuse me, it was a Thursday. So it was the show I do with David Hansel called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. That day, and I forget what had happened the day before, and it got me thinking, but my dog, I know by my dog if there's something in my house, even before I pick it up, because my dog will go, she will totally not be who she is. And I know, and she'll be constantly sniffing, 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 stopping, coming back to me. Mom, there's something here. Mom, there's something here. So that was going on. Then it was just after lunch, and I was telling you, my partner Dell, this was a couple of years ago, he wasn't feeling well and he wanted to have a bath. He had a really bad cold or something. So I bought a bath pillow, and it was tucked way up in our top shelf of our shower caddy in the shower. Hadn't moved. And he said he was sitting on the toilet, and it literally came flying out of there and hit him in the leg. And I went,
Those.
okay. So the reason why I mentioned our crew is because Nicole Thomas Ryan, there was a few other people too that heard it. She clipped it. There was an EVP during David and I's show that same night.
Oh
So
wow.
afterwards, it was about 12:30 at night. Dell, my partner, and I were outside having a fresh air break, I'll call it. And he went to go back inside, and he tried to get the door open, and he couldn't get the door open. He was about to shove it. He thought it was a dog. And I told you this. I said, don't shove on the door. I said, first of all, it's probably not the dog, but if it is, don't push on the door. I said, just sort of stop, breathe, and open it a crack and see what happens. And this painting, which has hung there since the day we moved in, his mom had done it, and it's a big painting. It was at the bottom of the stairs right by the door. And what had happened, somehow that painting had come off the wall in between this thin space between the railing and the wall and perfectly across the door. So we could not get in.
Uh,
So he had to break the painting. I don't think I could have got in. Like if he had been on nights or something, I don't know how I would have got in. And my son had his headphones in, he wouldn't have heard us. So then I knew. I said, oh, we got something here. So I went through the whole house and I cleansed it. And I have a team that I work with remotely that work with this all the time after what we've been through. And they've been so kind to work with us. They had a quick sweep of the house and said, whatever it is, it was gone. But they told me what it was. And they told me it was sent here. And I've had it's a total of three other people that weren't talking to one another work within the psychic mediumship field and told me it was sent to us. And it was pretty nasty what was sent.
That's horrible. I wonder what happens, like, once you get rid of it. Does it go back to that person and start messing with them? Or
Well, what I think happened, I don't think it was intentional, first of all. And where I was telling you before the show, with everything being energy, and somebody I saw in the comments earlier had written this, your thoughts, your words, and your emotions are some of the most powerful forms of energy that we have. Okay. So somebody that say is working with energy, or some people are just more powerful with energy. They really, really are. So if somebody was annoyed or angry or felt negative, not everybody's walking around in love and light. They're not. That energy's got to go somewhere. So, yeah, return to sender. I didn't return to sender, Nicole, because I wasn't aware at the time that it had been sent, but I just wanted it gone. I basically told it to go back where it was meant. I have a thing that I do. And I was telling you before the show, I started in the basement, went up to the top floor, went to the main floor, went through the house. I used Palo Santo, and I literally was blessing it. And then I was saying the Our Father, and there's a couple other things I do. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to use the sliding back doors or the front doors. So I asked Spirit, and it was suggested the front door because that's where the activity was. So I opened the door and we went right outside. And that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. And it's gone. You feel good now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gone.
That's
We've
amazing.
had a few things, but nothing like the previous home. Nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the creepiest thing that's happened to me. I was sitting here live on my show, and my beer koozie flew across the desk. I was like, I hope I got that on camera, because I just stopped in my tracks. I sat there and watched it fly across. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, that's what I say to people. So you'll meet people, and I always say without judgment, because it's not my job to judge. There will be people that will say they don't believe in a higher power, but they'll believe in demons. And then you'll meet people who know and believe in angels and source and all this positive stuff, but they don't believe in negative beings. And to me, again, living in a duality, not everybody is running around thinking love and light. And if it's true that your thoughts, your words, and your emotions are some of the most powerful things, right? And eventually that's how we end up with things like tulpas, right? Belief systems, words, thoughts in something, and eventually it can take form, right? New Jersey Devil. I mean, there's all kinds of things like that we've heard of. It's out there, and you start looking into it, and it becomes kind of evident, like, is this a tulpa, a collective energy that took energy?
So O.J. Simpson died the other day, and I started feeling, I was like, now he's a spirit. Now the juice is loose. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
You know what? Well, okay, I remember that. I remember watching his police chase. My kid was a baby at that time, my eldest, and whatever. And I watched some of that trial, and I've heard the theory, and I don't know what to believe, but I've heard the theory that his eldest son, who has some real issues, was the one that actually did this, and he covered up for it. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
But
it was 10 times, because that one guy got beat out of his truck. Or, the rate when the LA police.
Oh, Rodney King. Yeah.
Yeah. The trial was right around the same time. So
yeah,
like a huge fire in California at that time.
No, but when I watched, and I try to keep an open mind because I wasn't there, right? So when I watched and read up on this, because I'd never heard this theory before, and the son they were referring to was Jason. And it sounds like Jason had a lot of mental health issues and a lot of aggression and a lot of problems. And the way I had read it and what was shared, I thought that could potentially have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to believe. It's sad, whatever it was. It was
It
very
is. It
tragic.
is. I hope he did go to the light. I hope he did pass on and he didn't hold anything back. I hope the juice is loose and he's where he needs to be.
Well, I don't know. Like, as a recovering Catholic, as I call myself, I was forced to raise Catholic, be Catholic, go to church, go to Catholic school, and what have you. And the hardest thing for me to unravel my mind around was that there is no hell, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
a lot of people
Right.
angry. It took me a long time, but there isn't. I really believe that now. I really, really do.
I'm with you in that boat. Lorilei, this has flown by.
I
Can you
know.
believe it's already
Yes.
been an hour?
Mhm. And
So,
my dog knocked my coffee over. I didn't even realize. I was so engrossed.
well, he wanted a drink. He wants to wake up a
Yeah, it's
little.
all over my floor. Thank God it's on the floor.
Oh no. So I'm gonna pull a card. I do it at the end of every
Oh, I
show. I
love
pull a
it.
card for the group, to just kind of give them a message for this weekend, or
That's
you
beautiful.
know, and it keeps me in tune. So
I think
Chris
that's
says you two
beautiful.
rock. So
Thank you, Chris. You do
all
too.
right, guys. So here's our card for the weekend, and sacred plan. So there's always a plan for you. You just got to listen to it. You got to be, like Lorilei was saying, you got to open that intuitive part of you and just follow your life path. Just know there's a sacred plan for you. It might feel like you're going in a billion directions, but just stay the plan. Just be a good person and live in love and light. And that's what I get out of the card. What do you get out of the sacred plan card?
Trust that even if you don't know what your life plan is or why you're here, or what your purpose is, trust that you are here for a reason. Trust that everything really does happen for a reason. Be open, like you said, to even if the fact that maybe you can't follow that inner voice because you think it's coincidence or it's your imagination or what. How about giving yourself permission for, I don't know, a couple hours just to follow it and see what happens? As long as that inner voice comes from a place of love and you know it's meant in your highest good or someone else's, stay in a place of gratitude. Forgive. You don't have to forgive what someone did, but forgive them as a supernatural, ever living, everlasting soul. And you can't go wrong if you always go back to love.
Exactly. He's perfect. Perfect. What did Nicole say? She says, your purpose is always changing and evolving. That is very true. That is a good point, Nicole.
Always go to a place of joy. If you're not sure why you're here, what you're supposed to do, you can choose either service to self or service to others. Service to others, though, and being in a place of joy, I don't think there's a happier place to be. We all want to feel appreciated and needed, and it feels good to help others. It really
So there
does.
you go, folks. There's your message for the weekend. Uh, just live your sacred plan. Find some joy this weekend. So,
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Lorilei, I love you so much.
I
Thank
love
you.
you so much. I'm so glad you asked.
I wish David could be here. And let's see, Mary Eckerson said something here. True to your kindness and follow your inner truth and belief. Very good. Yeah, work on that this weekend, guys. Without further ado, this is Jonathan, JK-47, signing out. And make sure to check out Lori's shows. Okay,
Yes,
it's been
Angel Rock Monday night on UPRN, 6 to 8 p.m. And then the thing at the foot of the bed with David Hansel, 7 to 9 p.m. on Thursdays. Thanks so much for having me. I'll have to have you back on the Angel Rock, but I'm booking into September.
busy lady. I'm always here if you ever need
I'll
me.
hit you up at the last minute when I get
Yeah,
a
those are the best
cancellation.
ones.
Mhm.
All right.